What's insane is I wanted to actually open the conversation up and ask you what your thoughts were on that team and what their woes are, and you just kind of read my mind and did it. So now I'm just stumped and I have no idea what to say. Just kidding. We have complexity on the screen. This is our final round that we're gonna be broadcasting here today. It is winners bracket round 2, a big time matchup here for complexity taking on the green wall. So to kick things off, Eli, it's Aquarius CTF. Bring us into the series.
Aqua CTF. This is one of the fastest CTF mode. It has to be the fastest CTF mode that we play. This is going to be incredibly difficult for either of these teams to come out on top. But I tell you what, the player to watch today, it's got to be Formal. This guy, since the tournament started, has been putting up insane numbers. Would not be surprised if he has the highest KD in the tournament. They went undefeated in their pools, didn't drop a single map. Granted, they had possibly one of the easier pools to do that in for the level of talent of Optic Gaming, but if they can keep playing the way they were earlier today in pools, this is going to be difficult for Complexity.
All right, here we go in a pool play rematch from HCS Salt Lake City, where Complexity jump-started their run to top 6 with a 3-0 sweep over Optic Gaming. Optic looking to change the tone that was put in into the airwaves and airspace in that tournament. That was a shocker that got sent through the venue at the Salt Palace, as Formal now down to P1, down to one shot, gets taken down, cleaned up by Rain, who now has the overshield to work with as well. We could see Complexity with a pull here soon, but they've got to find some value out of it.
OS always so critical here. Rain doing his best to hold off the pressure, but he gets taken down. Flag gets pulled, but I don't think it's going anywhere. 3 dead for Optic. It's now Ryan uses the curb slide into thrust tech to get right back in the base, block the spawns, wants to secure the map a little bit further before moving this flag. Also wants to give his teammates a chance to move forward. This is such a powerful position on the map. If you're ever able to control the other team's car bridge in this game type, you are not only controlling their spawns, but also shooting them in the back while they try to do anything else on the map, as we see Ryan just being such a nuisance. And even though the flag gets returned, he's still alive and will give them another chance.
Zane healed up from that Salt Lake City trip as he works his way out of the base, trying to push out that line of scrimmage. But Huss has good positioning in the fridge. You can see Zane, I'm not really sure which way Huss is going. He's giving him the fits here, and Huss might win that from the low ground. He at least trades out. I'd say that's a net advantage outcome for Huss, because he seemed like he had the disadvantage, but still found the trade.
That's one of those guys that I feel like prefers the low grounds, even though high ground traditionally in FPS shooters is always advantageous. If it's Huss on the low ground, I don't really doubt his ability to come out on top, as he is a very scrappy player. Look at the movement. Oh. This man's Spartan does not move like other people, man. What
the dude? Oh my god, I just watched it back. He was like, that's the latest late jump I've ever seen in Halo Infinite.
He's doing it while jitter strafing as well. That left stick, he better have a warranty on that controller, because that thing is not gonna last very long.
All right, here we go. A reminder, Optic got first place in their pools with a 3-0 over the competition, so they advanced automatically to winners round 2. Complexity just earned their way here after a 3-0 sweep against Cloud9, but after going 4 down, Optic are assuredly gonna score first and make it 1-0.
Wow, despite some great efforts out of Complexity, Optic's process too strong. One thing you'll notice, players like Dead Zone and Lucid, look how intentional they are with every little movement that they make. It's just so calculated at all times. They are waiting until they have mid-map presence before they advance to the other side of the map. They're waiting for teammates to take certain angles before they expose themselves to other angles. It's also calculated, and this is the type of Optic that we saw win the World Championship in Season 1. They're starting to kind of show that level of form that we saw back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Optic working into World Championship form after a disciplining World Championship 1 year ago, where they were up in this series 2-0 against FaZe. From the winner bracket did Optic come from, and plus 8 games in a row to give FaZe and the boys another ring, as Lucid works his way to top mid. Overshield's up in 27 seconds, so the positioning going to be crucial here. Breaky Shot takes down the Season 1 MVP. Breaky Shot works his way into the blue generator, but the aggressiveness from Formal is too strong. He does trade out shortly after that, though, but again, it looks like Optic has the edge on the next OS.
I like that Formal burned both of those plasma grenades before dying, gave himself a chance to get a lucky stick, but also denied that resource to Complexity, similar to burning snipe shots out of a sniper before being taken out. I don't think Formal wants Complexity to have those items. Now, with the overshield up, I like Dead Zone's positioning. He's actually in the Complexity base, just shooting him in the back, going to give them no opportunity to safely go forward, and Trippy is pushing them at the same time. This looks very good for Optic's chances to not only get this OS, but get the flag out and cap it, as they are now going to be in a spawn trap.
This could be a double cap. If Lucid extends enough on the map, does so with the use of the thrust, tricks up the timing from Huss. Looking to take down Ryanoob for the double kill, but because of Lucid's positioning, because of the overshield from Optic, we might just see an attempt at a double cap, but likely not after Formal and Trippy go down. Lucid just going to be a thorn in the back of the base. He goes down, but not before trading out, and now Complexity have a little bit longer walk up to top mid.
Optic are looking very clean, as is the movement from Rain. Nice little slip and slide through car 1 to get all the way to the Optic base. As he makes his traversal, sees 2 dead Optic players in the kill feed, but wow, the other 2 remaining Optic players make sure he goes down in a hurry. Great defensive effort from Optic for a situation that looked like it could have led to a flag cap. Optic just shut it down in an instant.
Trippy trades out. Now Dead Zone inside of Optic's base, looking to play some defense here. Got bait and switch potential with Lucid, but it's a little precarious as both are down to low HP. Oh, but the timing is strong. It's better. They're better. They take down 2. Unbelievable. Ryanoob goes down. Huss goes down. So too does Rain. After what looked like was going to be a pull for Complexity and maybe even a score, they don't even get the flag out of the base. Instead, it's Optic who might just go up 3-0. And Eli, you said this earlier. This is looking like an Optic Gaming that is realizing the opportunity to win the World Championship, and the work, the effort, the preparation. This is a big part of it here with this tournament this weekend.
Also think these guys are just mad, man. They've gotten second 5 straight lands in a row. Now, to most people, that would be a phenomenal achievement. To these guys, it is not. They want to close out these tournaments. They are tired of being the bridesmaid. They want to be the bride. And this tournament, it kind of feels like they are maybe bringing another level of energy, and it feels like they already play so well. So if they're able to hit another gear and kind of play like the Optic that was so coordinated, so pristine, so calculated and cohesive, like this could be one of their best performances yet going into next week.
Yeah, Optic are used to being the final boss of Halo Infinite, the raid boss, not the level 1 boss. More like a level 4 or 5 boss, right? Like you got to get a little bit through the puzzle, at least, since Optic are always
at least have upgraded armor, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
A couple items in the inventory.
Exactly. A couple potions and heals at the ready, because Optic have been good, but haven't been great by their standards. So this is an impressive performance that we're witnessing here. Oh, look at the toss up. Wow. Dead Zone to Trippy. That was nice. That was clean, and it puts Optic up 4-0 with 2:45 left on the clock. Everything else in this match just feels like a technicality.
This is just clinical. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, because we literally saw Quadrant in this position just rattle off 4 flag caps in a row versus Optic to defeat them in a very similar situation. Sorry, Optic fans. I know Todini in chat wants to forget about that, but it's always possible. The thing is, this looks like a different Optic, man. I don't know. There's something special about the way they're moving. I'd love to hear their communication right now, because it's probably pristine.
I just pissed on him. Probably says Formal. Formal went down though. So maybe an
These
inverse.
kids suck.
This kid sucks. I mean, I probably still said that, honestly. Even though Formal died, he probably still said that, and that's just the level of confidence when you're the multi FPS champ. I'd put Formal on my Mount Rushmore, but we're showing our bias a little bit here as Lucid shows us his use of the overshield, has 75% left to work with, dominating mid-map control, dominating Complexity here in this one. And they'll lose a 4th, but I don't think we reset and go back to game 1. This one's over. Put a fork in it.
This is pretty bad, man. I mean, this also reminds me of the, if you could call it beef or drama between Formal and Ryanoob. Like, I think there was a tournament that Ryanoob like teabagged Formal, and then Formal's just like, This kid sucks. Why is he teabagging me or something in this interview?
I mean, to say the kid sucks is putting it gently, the words that he used in that interview.
That's true.
But Optic coming in with a statement here, game number 1, 5-0 on Aquarius. And one of the things I wanted to bring up, Mikowski, is it's so fascinating to me to take a look at some of these game types that have been in since year 1, being played in year 3 versus year 1, you know, whereas it used to be kind of strict, like, we're holding car, running at util. Now, like during that game type, I saw multiple times Optic coordinating the timing where they were pushing into P and car at the same time on a split push to force the back of the flag spawn after the flag had come out, so the players are super far away with no lanes. And just playing the game at such an insane high level and the way the meta's evolved, it's suffocating.
Yeah, no, they were also working the middle of the map, and when you dominate the 50-yard line like we saw from Lucid, you can not only turn that into overshield control, but you can allow yourself the fastest route. It's not like taking a flight to Seattle where you got a little curvature. It's a straight line. That's the fastest way to score, and you toss it up like we saw there between Dead Zone and Trippy, and that's the recipe for success as we move into another matchup here. It looks like FaZe Clan take game number 1, 2-1, and this is an intriguing series I was looking at, Hunter. The Sentinels, man, God, are they a top 12 team or a top 2 team? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what we're getting series to series, let alone game to game. However, I will say 2-1 is a lot closer to 5-0, so it looks like there was at least some fight there from the boys on Sentinels, and, you know, knowing them, they could easily bounce back in a Slayer game too. Pure looking to close things out against Mindfreak, but Mindfreak up in this game number 4, 1-0, currently with control of the hill, so they're looking poised to potentially force the game 5 here. Would love to see one on the broadcast, right, Eli?
Absolutely. I mean, the Aussies are here. They've came across the pond, I think, a couple of weeks ago and started practicing shortly after getting home from Salt Lake City. I know they're excited. They don't want to squander this opportunity. These guys understand the gravity of the situation, want to represent their country in the best way possible. And to get a win here against Pure would be monumental. Pure, though, look pretty good to close this out. If not for this crazy Herculean push out of Mindfreak, they somehow win that. Plasma doing a little dance, making sure he doesn't get hit by the headshot there, and that little dance might have just won them the second hill.
Now it's locked down in yard. Such a hard hill to break when the other team gets full control. Looking like Mindfreak now, turning things around. 2 big kills there. That's certainly going to lead to a score, and it does now, going up 2-0 here. This is the thing about this yard hill is, like, it's so hard to break in. However, if you're able to get in there, it doesn't matter how badly down you are on that hill. You can cap it in one hole.
It's the most lockdown hill on this map for sure. The next closest would be Snipe, and it's not even close. I mean, you could lock down the Snipe hill, but it's still so exposed comparatively to the yard, which is so enclosed. There's only so many ways in. As long as you're watching all the angles, you can cap it in one go, like you said. But Mindfreak have done a good job. There's still a ton of time left on the clock, though, so it does mean that Pure have a lot of time to work with. They don't have to get, you know, overzealous. They don't have to get impatient. They can kind of play their process, see if they can eke the victory out over the long term.
Avicii, the sub. Oh, it's unfortunate. He fell into the lift, but still finds. I imagine it was a headshot. My face cam is covering that up, so okay, glad to get the confirmation from Eli. That's difficult, man. I don't know if he was. He looked a little surprised to have taken the lift that way, but still found the headshot as we move our way towards game number 2 here in this series. Complexity with a bounce back 3 over Cloud9, but Optic Gaming, after getting 3-0'd by Complexity inside of the Salt Palace, seemed like they're out for revenge.
And we learned 2 things about Mikowski there in that statement. We learned that A, he can't tell the difference between a headshot and a body shot, and B, he loves himself so much he'd rather cover the gameplay up with his cam than you know, be able to watch. But hey, you know, to each their own.
I gotta adjust for the LVT split screen because you know, we go 4 cams so much here. LVT go to with the production, 4 more go down for Complexity. Yeah, so it was just in that rare occurrence where we go to the split screen, I couldn't see the bottom left feed. So just, you know, but you're right, I'm pretty faded.
I mean, you just like the way you look. It's all good. You're just staring at yourself instead of the gameplay. Like, we get it.
We get it. Fixing the hair, you know, doing the makeup, doing what you got to do. But let's jump back into this series now. It's game 2. Complexity looking to tie things up here going into game number 3. However, they got their work cut out from Eli, currently trailing 10-4 here in Slayer on Recharge.
Dude, Optic looking strong, to say the least. I feel like if we had a listen in right now, they would be like perfectly communicating with each other. It just feels like everything's going their way. Even when things are not going their way, they're managing the situation well. Dead zone here. Last player alive on the team. He's going to burn that last snipe shot and see if he can stay alive using the chase grenade. Right now, if any member of Complexity go out to try to kill him, I feel like they're going to meet other members of Optic. But no, Complexity, as I've been saying how good Optic has been playing, Complexity did get several kills, and then now another 3 dead for Complexity. How does Optic play off of their advantage? If they can stagger the death of Ryanoob as they have, they will likely be aggressive on this next round of spawners. And look at the sneaky positioning from Dead Zone. I don't think they know he's here.
Do not. And if I had to play off that thought, Eli, if we were to listen in with Optic Gaming, it would sound like Lunchbox is on the sticks. I think when Lunchbox is at his peak of coaching, it sounds like he's playing the video game, the way he's IGLing and calling for this Optic Gaming roster as Complexity are able to take down 3. Dead Zone last Spartan standing, but look at the patience, playing for the spawns inside of A, which is not as bad as spawning back at C and getting funneled and forced into the long haul. So nice play here from Zane as the last Spartan standing. Despite going down, he does set up Optic off of these A spawns, but Complexity are starting to put the pinch down. Complexity are starting to take advantage of their position.
Yeah, but the damage is being followed up on by Optic. That is a recipe for success. Never let your opponent get their shield back. If your teammate gets them to one shot, cut them off so they can't get their shield back. That's a recipe for success. 8-kill lead early on here for Optic. I think this shock rifle likely to be up now as well. So members of Optic with Lunchbox in their ear telling them that it's on spawn. I expect them to go for it. Looks like Dead Zone sees that it's actually been taken off the rack. So it looks like he now just figured out some member of Complexity likely has it.
Ryanoob backing up, looking to reroute his way to top C and work his way to tower to help out. No, he's working his way down to the Mauler pit. Ryanoob, you can never really guess where he's going. I shouldn't even try. As Rain drops to clean up Trippy, does that. I assume Lucid might be weak. He is now after the melee, but Dead Zone cleans it up for the double kill. Dead Zone's been patient. Dead Zone's been methodical with his gameplay and his style in this series, often throughout HCS Season 3, but feels like when we're switching gears, even when we switch POVs to Ryanoob, it's like, wow, it looks like he's sprinting forward. Us looks like he's always holding forward. We swap over to Dead Zone, and he's just taking what the game gives to him.
He's really just playing his process. He's taking in intel before making decisions, which I really feel like my teammates in matchmaking need to learn from as well. They will just send it off of 0 intel for no like, bro, you need to at least know what's happening on the map before you make a decision. If you're just making blind decisions, like, that's how houses get burned down. Like, it's bad things will happen if you just make decisions without thinking about it. But Dead Zone, every decision that he makes is intentional and has a reason behind it.
Well, there you have it, guys. There are real-life consequences for throwing in matchmaking, especially, it sounds like, if you team up with Eli. As Huss, a couple frag tosses out, wants to protect the space. He looks to push through momentarily after as he takes down Formal, picks up the shock. Got to make a play here. Complexity down big. Huss does stay alive, does earn the assist. So maybe after 3 go down for Optic, this is their chance. But Dead Zone says, "Oh, you guys have been talking about my play today. Here's another one."
He looks very confident on the map right now, just playing through open space. Maybe a little bit too confident. Complexity will cut him down in that moment. I think he could have taken a safer route, but with the way they've been playing, I don't blame him for having that level of confidence here. Trippy, let's see if he can finish Huss, who always makes himself a difficult kill. Looks like he got a little bit lost in the sauce. Huss somehow was alive that long, but Lucid's gonna delete him from existence with the shock rifle. It seems like it's only a matter of time before Optic closes out, up by 8 going into the end game.
Lucid with his sidekick, no pistol. It's the shock rifle in his hands, and he's looking to line up perfect 3 burst. Doesn't need to. Breaking shot's already weak enough. Whips out the DMR. Takes him down, maintains his shield, maintains his life, knows that the attention is on other members of Optic Gaming. That's why with low shields, he still peaks, he still pushes, and he still finds slays. Lucid, looking like he's back in MVP form. I know we saw assist pop up on your screen, but it's the process that I'm most impressed with.
What I was impressed with there was Lucid didn't even have to be the guy that finished that kill. Another player showed up, Magler Door, to save Trippy's life, to make sure, like, all members of Optic are flowing with one another. Like we said, in the way that we were used to seeing them in Season 1, maybe finally reaching that level of cohesion that we missed from them in recent tournaments.
Look at Optic when they go 3 down. It's of no consequence. Yeah, whatever. We're up by 10. We're up by 7. They don't... It's not like they're letting complexity back in it. Optic, when they get 3 down, they're building on their lead, and it's been a big difference that I've noted in this one. 48-37 here as this one is all but over. Formal might go down, but Optic won't.
Breaking shot, trying to make it interesting, but Trippy has a very interesting elbow for the face of Ryanoob, and that is going to do it for a game at 2. Wow, I mean, these guys came to play today, have yet to drop a map. Honestly, none of the games have even looked close. That one was one of the closer ones that we've seen yet, and they still won by 10.
Well, I think you mentioned earlier before the series a little bit about the history, so to speak, between these two teams.
Yeah.
Which is naturally something you're going to get up for a little bit more if you're Optic Gaming and, you know, lean in, so to speak. You factor that in with the fact that Optic Gaming remembers this complexity team just beat them on land not too long ago, right? And so you also don't want to take an opponent lightly that has had the ability to best you in the past. So Optic having all the reasons to lock in on this series, and so far they've done just that with a 5-0 beating in game number 1 and now 50-40 in game number 2. Mikowski, if you're complexity, you're down 0-2. The games have been kind of hard. How are you bouncing back mentally into the series?
Well, I think you got to be excited about the series layout. King of the Hill, I think, lends itself to Complexity's setup, almost play calling oriented style of Halo, where they see something, they call for it, and then they set up around it. And again, it speaks to we've been talking about the evolution of Ryanoob. It speaks to how much Ryanoob has grown throughout Halo Infinite. He used to try to set up on, it seems like, every game mode and game type or map. Now he moves around the map a little bit faster, and now he gets going when he needs to. And I think King of the Hill sets up for Ryanoob and Complexity. So this one's not over just yet. Optic are going to have to earn it in game 3, but it looks like we're switching gears here to a 2-2 tie between Shopify and Into the Breach.
Yeah, and you can see the way both these teams playing with so much respect for one another, right? Not just like fully sending it, kind of feeling out the situation on the map. A 2-2 tie here. I do want to bring up also, we tuned into Pure versus Mindfreak for a moment. Mindfreak were up 2-0, looking to force that series to game 5. Pure actually ended up closing that out in a 3-1 fashion. So Pure able to bounce back in that game and move on to winners bracket round 2 as well. We're gonna let the gameplay do the talking. I'm gonna give the casters here a short break. Do not go anywhere. We'll keep the gameplay locked and loaded for you guys at home. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Halo World Championship warm-up presented by Complexity.
Enemy flag returned. Enemy flag returned.
I lied. We're not going anywhere. Also, too, the series breakdown was incorrect. We are in game 5. Mindfreak did close out game number 4, and so we decided, you know what? Who needs a break? We'll take a break when we're dead. It's game number 5. Pure taking on Mindfreak. Mikowski, take it away.
All right, here we go in a series where, well, we're going to have to reset. But nonetheless, I think this is a big series. This is a big game. I'd almost say this is bigger for Mindfreak because, again, Pure playing with a substitute. You know, you're really just trying to get to game 2 or day 2 and get last shot back in there. Not that Abasi hasn't played incredibly well, but for Mindfreak, it's just stacking up confidence against any competition, and that's on the table regardless of who their 4th is, as it looks like after that reset. We'll switch gears here. I saw in chat, Hunter, it said Sentinel staked Face Clan. Well, that may or may not be true. You know, chat 50-50 whether or not they're trolling or spitting facts. But hey, nonetheless, they got the dub in game 2, and precision with 2 shots. Takes down 2 more, and they're already up 1-0 in this game 3. The momentum swinging towards Sent.
Yeah, and we did mention earlier just how good of a Slayer team Sentinels is, so no surprise that they won that game. However, to win in stake fashion is a bit shocking. As we jump back into our series Complexity versus Optic Gaming, I really do hope we get to see that game 5 of Pure versus Mindfreak when that's ready. Some great shots coming in from Dead Zone, though. Eli, it's King of the Hill on live fire. Let's go for a little coaching session. Give us the keys to victory here on this game type.
This is one of my favorite game types, King of the Hill. The primary means to success is there's always a part of the map that you should want to spawn and control during the hill, and it's always a specific side of the hill, maybe both sides of the hill. But Dead Zone is going to interrupt my Metafine session to bring you a montage as he is popping off with the snipe. But yeah, for this hill, you want to have exactly where Dead Zone is. He's here to ensure that people don't spawn next to him. You want a player at the tower, where I imagine Lucid or Formal are right now. Yep, both of them, in fact. You want to have a guy in the hill and maybe a guy in nest as well. As long as you control the space around the hill, you're going to have a good time.
He snuck in the body shot there, too, on the clavicle of Complexity as Dead Zone starts off 4-1-1. A great start here. Tops in the lobby so far, but Complexity are able to break control of the garage and back B to take down 3 for Optic Gaming. As Dead Zone, last Spartan standing, he goes down. It's a team wipe for Complexity, and they're turning it into a lead.
Lucid finally gets taken down. Trippy last player alive for Optic, and although it looked like Optic had strong control, Complexity made a great push through the tower side. If you are gonna make a push to break this hill, you need to have presence at both sides as well, and probably send a guy through pillar door. But Complexity, they turn that great push into a hill capture. Trippy shows up, looks like a second too late. He's gonna hang out here and wait for this quantum translocator to use it for the next play. And this one's pretty obvious. For this hill, we want tower control. You also got a guy at nest side, and you'd like to have a guy that's watching cuts as well. You can play a little bit closer together during this hill as long as you've got all the lanes watched.
When you're great at holding setups, you're usually pretty talented at breaking them too, and this is what we talked about in the pregame when Hunter asked what the keys were and what the optimism could look like for a Complexity team down 0-2 in the series. They got exactly what they asked for. QT used from Trippy. Oh, I thought he used the QT to get the double kill. I was about to lose my mind. Nonetheless, it's a tricky play from Trippy as he gains control of the hill, breaks down all of the hold that Complexity had of the snipe tower, and now Breaking Shot looks to work his way through the nest, but Trippy has help. But Trippy has a flanking Ryanoob behind him, and Ryanoob takes down Formal. Ryanoob takes down Lucid as well for the triple kill, looking like he's in a SWAT lobby.
Absolutely unreal, the level of gameplay that we're seeing out of Ryanoob today. He's been on fire. No shocker that they find themselves in winners round 2. But facing their toughest opponent yet. Yeah, that's a nice play, but what do you do now? How do you hold off Optic from making a good push of their own? We've got Formal gets taken down on the cuts, and then Trippy gets taken down sandbags. That's a huge opening step for Complexity to finish this hill, but they've got one more push to hold off.
Man, Ryanoob. That triple is what opens up the scoring for Breaking Shot, and Breaking Shot picks up where Ryanoob left off with a no-scope double tap. Ryanoob now in a 1v1 with Dead Zone. Both players repositioning, reshielding, but Ryanoob's more aggressive. Ryanoob has the beat on him. My God, Ryanoob is having himself a game 3, and that's why you can't just look at stats. 7 and 5. It's not like he's outrageous, like 2.0 KD or anything like that, but my God, the eye test. Ryanoob's got an A+ in that regard.
Huge bounce back as well. I mean, we just talked about how lopsided the first 2 games were. I mean, they lost 5-0 on Aqua. It wasn't even close. The Slayer was a little bit closer, but Complexity not giving up. They are bringing the heat in this game. They've now got a 2-0 lead. But I tell you what, this is where things change, because the first 2 hills, if you're in position to get the B hill, you're typically in position to get the next hill as well. Now is where things change. Now Optic spawning by A hill. Complexity are going to have to work a little bit harder if they're going to earn this one. And I'm curious to see how Optic choose to set up around it.
More snipe ammo left, but Ryanoob still putting down damage, still earning more assists, and finally goes down. Man, it's been fun to watch him here. But Optic are in the hill now, 25% and then some on the board. Numbers advantage for Complexity. They're going to roll on that, taking down 3, make it all 4. Eli, again, good team. When you're good at holding a setup, you're likely good at breaking it as well. And every single time, Optic has held the hill and looked like they had control of it. Complexity come in with the leg sweep.
Look at that. Clearly the communication's on point. Breaking Shot pre-nading Lucid there on the rat tunnel. He's not walling, folks. He's got good intel from his teammate in the A side. Look at the patience as well. Knew that a member of Optic would definitely try to go there. Gets the remote detonation. Yeah. And they once again stopped the push. I mean, Complexity are playing this so well right now.
One of the most setup-oriented teams in the HCS. One of the best with the setup in this King of the Hill. On live fire, hell, I don't care what map you put them on. Complexity usually come out on top. One of the best King of the Hill teams in HCS. 3 more go down. Make another team wipe, why don't you?
Wow.
4 more go down. Complexity goes 3 up in the scoreboard. And this one might be over with 3 minutes left.
Uncharacteristic death from Formal there. And look at this. This is the Ryanoob day 1 hill strategy, by the way. They are purposefully not capping this until they get a couple more slays so they can rotate more easily for next. They also, because they have the lead, by burning more time off the clock, further increase their win conditions throughout the rest of the game. This is masterful play. They are really putting the vice grip on Optic.
Oh, and in the bottom right corner, King of the Hill, it looks like Sentinels will find another upset victory in game number 3. Hard to call it an upset, but against the defending world champs. The way Sentinels has looked this season, I think that's fair to say, as they'll take a 2-1 edge in that matchup. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, the games are heating up here in the Halo World Championship warm-up presented by Complexity. Back on board here with Complexity's own Ryanoob. He's got 4 shots left in the snipe, been deadly with him so far. I think he thought he landed the body shot, tried to clean up on a headshot that wasn't quite there, but he gets out and he avoids any more damage there from dead zone, despite what looked like maybe a little bit of missed timing. I'm talking nanoseconds here. Formal now, down to low HP. Ryanoob wanted to throw that frag up there to potentially take him down, but he's got no resources. Does have help and support in the tunnel. He's going to make a new push with breaking shot.
Interesting rotation here, deciding to get a different angle on the hill. Want to give themselves at least one half of the map to work with leading into the top center hill. I would argue the tower side, certainly the better half of the map to approach this hill. However, Complexity recognizing their presence was a bit too strong on that side and would be risky to try to take it. Might as well just take the side that you've already got allotted to you.
Trippy and Optic Gaming have shown a little bit of fight back, going to previous hill, making it 1-3 and have 25% on the board, and 3 go down for Complexity. This is looking like a role reversal here. And Eli, this is why Complexity, not only were they working for the rotation to the next hill, but they were trying to burn some time off the clock. Complexity, so efficient in their first 3 scores, they left Optic Gaming plenty of time to come back.
They did. Optic basically forced Complexity to cap it by just applying extra pressure. Complexity no longer could wait, and now, ever since getting control, Optic have been punishing Complexity over and over. And now, how do they play this situation? Lucid gets the camo basically for free. This hill should be capped, and now Optic's going to be rotated onto the nest side for the B hill. They also have some presence over on the screens, and unless Dead Zone gets taken down, they're in great positions to earn control of this hill as well.
Oh my God, this feels like the battle of the blenders. Which team could put together a better smoothie right now, because it's been back and forth, but when one team is on, boy, are they on fire. As Huss tosses a sticky grenade out, thought maybe he could clean up on the damage on Huss, but instead, Ryanoob does as he earns the slay. 1 down for Optic. Complexity still holding the line and holding a lot of time on this hill. I feel like I just blinked and they're already at the halfway mark.
Enemy team took the hill.
Complexity would like to close this out. Yes, the last 2 hills have not gone in their favor, but did they create enough different victory variables for themselves to win this one? Looks like they have to break the setup. We've talked about how good they've been at breaking setups this entire game, but this is the most important one for them to break.
Trippy lining up that reticle at head level. Nobody's pushing, gets the call that they're coming on the mud. Oh, Trippy with the double kill. Yeah, potential triple there on the green wall. No pun intended. No shots connected either. He does earn the body shot on the rain. Goes down shortly after, so maybe that's their chance to regain control of the nest bridge positioning. Crucial on this B hill.
Trippy stepping up in a big way here, but Formal gets caught off guard for another time this game. It feels like he's been kind of shut down in more situations than we've been used to seeing today in this game specifically. And Complexity are close to closing this out. Optic, last chance.
Oh, Ryanoob with the body shot, no scope, but the remote detonation, it looked like it. Maybe it's just a frag grenade. Nonetheless, so many bodies are going down left and right. You can hardly keep up with it. And Optic Gaming have scored 3 hills in a row to tie up this game. Sudden death is on the line.
What a clutch moment. That looked like it was definitely going to Complexity, but at the last second, somehow Lucid sneaks into the back of Green and earns it. Also has 1 bullet left. They're in perfect positions for this hill. This is one of the hardest ones to break. And the Complexity are reeling.
I can't believe my mental state is where I don't know how Complexity come back from this. In a game where it looked like they were about to steamroll Optic the way they steamrolled Complexity in game 1, winning 5-0. This feels like a 4 unanswered hill comeback brewing for Optic Gaming, and it is at the 10 percentile, going up into 15 or so. Now they wait to play for positioning, play for more slays. Lucid with the crucial position on the map, has to hold the snipe tower, and if he does, Optic might just complete one hell of a reverse sweep here in this game 3.
Lucid towering over the entire map here from the snipe tower, checking the back of the tower as well. Knows that people are lurking, but he cannot be taken down. Complexity are now going to be disjointed from their team. A little bit of lag there. It looked like the hurricane just... I thought to myself, I know he's in Florida, right? That might be the problem.
Yeah, I thought to myself, Tommy doesn't make plays like that. That looked like he lagged out. Okay, and he did. I was about to say, because why push, right, Eli? Like, why push mud when 2 of your teammates are pushing up the dummy ramp to take the positioning? Anyways, Lucid's in his, correct state of mind or in a correct state of internet would have just maintained positioning and eyesight on top mid. So we will have a reset, and that's unfortunate because, man, that game was getting good. But on your LVT split screen, you can see 2-2, Pure and Mind Freak, 0-1 into the breach, brewing an upset over Shopify Rebellion, and Sentinels brewing an upset over FaZe Clan. What's happening?
It seems like these teams are finally starting to wake up, right? People are starting to finally put on a show for us here. I wanted to comment briefly, Eli, because I know you noticed this as well, and you're a sucker for the details like myself, but when Lucid was playing Tower there, the way he was playing it was flawless in the sense that he was looking at his teammate who was C-plat right in front of him, and whichever side his teammate rotated to on the plat, he was watching through the wall, and he was also rotating to that angle on tower. So there was always a double angle happening for every engagement. So when they came nest, they were getting double teamed. When they came towards dummies, they were getting double teamed. If they went middle, they were getting double teamed at minimum. And just like masterful knowledge of the details and how to be a good teammate in that situation, and understanding the role of tower. It really is a support position.
Absolutely, you don't have to be finishing the kills from that spot. Go ahead.
Let me ask you guys. I don't expect a full reset, but I almost imagine we'll take on OT reset rules where you got to score 2. It would just be a little weird to have 1 hill needed. I don't know. I guess we saw that earlier, man. I don't know which way that goes. What are y'all's thoughts?
I would say,
yeah, go ahead, Eli. Go ahead.
Probably a full reset, I think, is what they might decide to do, because I mean, typically if the score is tied, they go to a full reset, but it was like they did 6 hills, and it might be a waste of time to do another full game when they could just play to 2. I don't know.
I would also say, we're going to comment on this in a second, Mikowski, but I would briefly say full reset, just because a 1 hill situation is so dependent, like opening breaks, who gets the first set of power weapons, power-ups, you could easily just kind of run away with it. And that's not what that game was. That game was a grinder, right? So you want to try to simulate that as well. I would say full reset, or like you said, first to 2, but we got to talk about this. Sentinels up 2-1 on FaZe Clan, and also up big in game number 4, looking to present us with our first big upset of the weekend here, Mikowski.
Man, ever since London, where FaZe won the whole tournament, FaZe just hasn't looked like FaZe, and it's not to say that the individuals haven't looked like the 4 GOATs that they are, but I don't know, man. Eli, I can't quite put my thumb on why FaZe Clan has underperformed this season and even potentially in this tournament.
Kind of agree. It's like hard to say what's going on, because it does feel like individually, whenever you watch their POV, they're doing FaZe things. I think that the problem is not that they're playing bad. It's just everybody else is getting really good, and they're like, it's almost like everybody else has learned from the style that made FaZe so successful, that like hyper aggressive, like slay out and then play for objective kind of mentality. And I don't know, if sometimes being the first one to master something isn't good for you in the long term, because you've shown everybody else how to win.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say I've noticed about FaZe, and I'm not knocking them in any way, shape, or form. They're the reigning world champs, and until someone else, you know, gets that specific trophy, that's what they will be to me. So they deserve all the respect in the world as the world champs. You got to knock them off. I have noticed a little bit of a slow step, Eli, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like they've been just like a half step behind when it comes to being efficient on OBJ, right? Like they can get all the kills in the world, but like if it's not turning into, you know, OBJ dominance, OBJ efficiency, it's really easy in Halo Infinite to waste time.
Yeah, and it goes back to I think it goes back to the PB&J analogy earlier. It sounded a little silly, but it really does go to show you have to have 4 complementary players. That's why I always used to say I wouldn't take 4 Lucids on a team or 4 Frosties on a team, because those playstyles just can't complement each other. And the objective inefficiency hunter has been present from the very first series we ever saw from FaZe Clan, and it's still an issue at times today.
I do also want to pop in and say, you know, it wouldn't shock me if they come back and win this game and the series, because unfortunately, and I really don't want to come across as just like a clown saying this, but unfortunately, Sentinels is probably the biggest choking team we have in the entire scene, right? Like we've seen, how many times have we seen Sentinels in a situation where all they got to do is just close out strong, right? Foot on the gas pedal all the way through the finish line, and they just kind of flounder and, you know, end up losing the series. So even though they were up big in this game by 100, take a look, FaZe Clan clawing their way right back in, Eli.
I mean, I think it's more of a tale of this, just the way this game type functions than anything else at the moment. I mean, typically when one team gets control, we do often see 100-point swings. So I think if Sentinels can get back into their comfort zone, they could absolutely come back. But I think the objective inefficiency thing is certainly an issue. I've done a lot of study of the stats of these top teams, and a lot of teams are like pretty even across the board. There's like one guy that's like clearly the Slayer, one guy that's like clearly does a little bit more objective. When you look at a team like SSG, it's like very even across the board for the whole squad, which I think is what makes them so good. But then you look at FaZe, and it's like Snakebite has like 7 times as much oddball time as everybody else, and it just feels like,
My goodness.
someone else has to hold the oddball. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
there's a point where it becomes kind of ridiculous, right? Like, there's obviously a margin for error, and, you know, we always talk about different players in different situations, but if it's that big of a discrepancy, there's definitely some things that need to be addressed and worked on.
Have to agree.
All right.
But FaZe are looking good here.
FaZe are coming back on top and on the road to a potential Game 5 as we have a trip cap C going to Sentinels. But man, Sentinels really let go of what felt like a chance to steamroll. And I don't say that lightly against FaZe Clan, but on this map, this particular game mode, you do have that opportunity when you go up, and FaZe Clan were able to take it right back. And once you get going, you usually don't let it go on interference, and that's what it looks like we're seeing here as FaZe Clan moments away from securing Game 5, and it looks like we're back on board with our main matchup between Optic Gaming and Complexity. Complexity scoring 3 hills in a row, and then Optic Gaming had an answer back to that, 3 of their own, and off the reset. It's Optic already going up 1-0, and it looks like, to answer some of y'all's questions, looks like we're going to full re.
Full reset is absolutely the right call here. To go back briefly to the Sentinels phase, I know they're heading into Game 5. It's for me as a fan of the game, it's almost kind of painful, like, because I would genuinely say that more than most of the other teams in the league, like, I am a huge Sentinels fan. Like the way that roster is constructed, to me, it's just so underrated, and you know, a team that at any moment could be great. It's just, there's a hump there, right? There's some kind of mental block there that they just, whenever we see it's gonna be a big moment for them, they somehow manage to fall short by inches usually. So hopefully with something like this World's warm-up, it can help, you know, kind of iron out some of those kinks in the armor before Worlds next weekend. But Eli, jumping back here into this game number 3 replay, looking like a full replay, Complexity versus Optic Gaming. If you're Complexity, how do you sort of stop the green train that's just been rolling through the last 4 hills in a row?
I mean, they just got to tap into whatever they were on at the beginning of the last game. It's been, you're right, a 4th hill, but they're looking good for this. Lucid last player alive. They've been kind of staggering him out. This is the 2nd time in a row Lucid has found himself the last player alive and kind of forced to fight. Reki Shot kills the first spawner as well, which is massive. If you ever get 4 dead and then immediately spawn kill and then throw perfect grenades at the next spawner, rotate for next. Like, this is kind of the recipe for Complexity to pull this game to a game 4.
Ragdoll physics and a little Hail Mary grenade toss there from Breaking Shot ties things up at 1 as we now hop on board here with Formal. Rain with the camo does not have the jump on Matt as he's able to take him down, but Us does, cleaning up on that damage. Nade goes out, picks the shields of Dead Zone, and now looking to clean up on that initial damage. Look at that, bringing back the OG strafe peek and pop shot there as it looked like both were engaged in a duel of that variety, and Huss gets the better of Zane.
So far, Optic looking good, but not as dominant as they had previously. These two teams have so much history, man. I do feel like that Salt Lake City series, Complexity beat Optic in pools. Still fresh on all of these guys' minds. Complexity want to prove that it wasn't a fluke. Optic want to prove that it was.
Enemy team took the hill.
And I can't decide either way right now. I mean, Optic looked really strong in the first 2 games of the series, but Complexity have looked entirely different into this game.
Ooh, body shot, breaking shot. Oh, headshot, 3. Okay, breaking shot. What's his sense? Like check him sensitivity, because he is routinely earning 360 medals earlier. Eli, remember I said, hey, it looks like he's trying to get tricky with it and go for the medal, and you said no, he's just checking his corners. No, he's just repulsing and skipping across the map. Breaking shot is filthy at maintaining a stabilization despite his reticle spinning at 360 degree. Get to see a little bit of that from Dead Zone as well.
I feel like he's got to play on like 4-7-9 or something, like on the higher side for sure. Maybe even higher than that. He might play on 5 acceleration. From the way he's able to kind of spin around in a 360 so quickly and control it very effectively. Wait, no way. Oh, they were playing to 2?
Oh, they were playing to 2. All right, we got ourselves a series. Complexity take game number 3, and they're not dead yet.
Yeah, I think playing to 2 is probably the best of both worlds in that scenario, right? It's not the instant pop off of if they were just playing a sudden death hill. Playing to 2 gives you a little bit more opportunity to see which team is truly more consistent. And when you do the math there, Complexity capped, how many hills is that? 5 hills to Optic's 4. So Complexity pulling that one out and extending the series. You know, Ryan is absolutely thrilled to get another piece of these guys here on Optic as we move now into game number 4. And like you said, Hunter, we absolutely have a series now. Complexity getting their footing here, heading into an interference, aka the rig strongholds for game number 4. Optic gaming, you know, oftentimes they need a little chip on their shoulder, right, Eli, to kind of get themselves going. So that could, I mean, you might have just woken up the beast.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it feels like, and kind of what I was thinking as well is like, that's the first game they've dropped all day. It was starting to feel maybe too easy for them, and now that's the wake-up call they needed. Like, okay, these guys are starting to fight back. We got to lock back in, because the difference in like just cohesion that we saw between games 1 and game 3 was pretty massive for Optic. In that Aquarius game, it felt like they were playing basically flawlessly, and then not that they were playing bad per se in that live fire game, but they just did not have that same level of cohesion.
It felt a little basic. Compared to what we're used to seeing out of them, but we're not wasting any time. We're hopping on board with, you know, who in my opinion has been the Optic MVP of the day. It is Formal. Mikowski, guide us through this game type, guide us through this series, and let the people know what's good on how Optic, you know, could potentially close it out here.
Well, Tools pointed out some simple strategy in the chat previously. He said, win condition, just stop Formal. And it seemed pretty brain dead at the time, but I think he's right. Just stop Formal, as Dead Zone's going to stop anybody from grabbing the overshield. But what a great way to start the match, to take down Formal, but not turn it into anything. I don't know, maybe they will. If Complexity are able to take back A, they can domino down on that takedown of Formal. And I think Tools is right to a degree. Formal, when he's on fire, he's got a different level of takeover ability in Halo.
That was an interesting play by Dead Zone that I'm thinking about, because he certainly could have stayed on the map, I think, but maybe didn't want to take the risk of dropping it and handing it off. And then also, if he dies quicker, he respawns with better timing of his teammates. I don't know if it was that deep or if I'm just adding layers to it that don't exist, but either way, looked like a pretty smart play in the moment. And now Optic look to control the whole map. They've got 3 dead. Breaking Shot, last guy alive. His presence is known. And we got a trip cap here. Can they hold it for very long? We'll have to see.
Oh, it is so important to win the opening break here on interference. And it's a little bit longer opening break here. Both teams get to 30, but I do believe after the trip cap from Optic Gaming, they might just run into the 100s before Complexity are able to score again because of the snowball nature of this map and game type. As we hop on board here with Formal, pushing his way through T1 to the security. Spots no players and just playing for space here, playing for high ground, playing to help out his teammate Lucid. Lucid finds the trade on Huz. Oh my god, Formal, look what I found. What? Look what I found again. What the? Look what I found. Double kill. And there's Optic Gaming into the 100s before Complexity does cap a single point.
Look at the timing and awareness. Formal was already looking at that spawn point before Breaking Shot appeared there. Granted, he has comms from his squad to know like what's being blocked and what spawns are open. But he was so close to that spawn to like still have the presence of mind to be like, okay, I'm not close enough to actually block this. And I trust what my teammates are saying, so I'm going to continue to look at this spot and immediately get the spawn kill. I mean, that's just another level of spawn manipulation.
Only Formal could get that type of double kill where even though we're on his POV, you still don't really see what the hell happened, man. It's just Matt doing Formal things as Formal finds another cap, finds another slay, finds another assist, impacting so much in this match. Gets another assist, and even when he goes down, Eli, he makes sure to jab an elbow into your chin to make sure you're an easy cleanup. Formal, he's the GOAT for a reason.
Guy's playing absolutely lights out and at good timing. I mean, this man, does he like just only care if there's a world championship on the line? This guy's won so many tournaments and different games now that like he's at the point where it's like, man, the only time I'm gonna get out of bed is if it's for a world championship. Like this guy, he is really playing at a different level.
Dude, Formal's such a gamer. He's like, yeah, you know, if it's not for a world championship, like, just play some Valorant or something. Like, dude is just an absolute dog. He just wants to win any game, any input device, any FPS. Formal's gunning for your throat. As Eli, we said it would get into the 100s before Complexity scored. It's into the 200s, and Complexity just now got control of A and B. And if they don't run off a similar run that we saw from Optic Gaming, the series is over.
Trippy
Enemy team score.
capturing A. This guy always has so many cap points, puts his body on the line. I feel like he doesn't get enough highlight. I mean, it's hard to be highlighted with these guys on your team, but I mean, Trippy's really doing the dirty work for this squad. I feel like he's kind of assumed that role ever since the team change, and he's done a good job of it and really kind of playing within his comfort zone this tournament.
Lucid drops down. I think he thought he got the final shot on the Rain, but ooh, Rain almost got a double kill he shouldn't have. Double kill in the feed, and on your screen for Dead Zone, it's a killing spree at that. Breaking Shot with the bunker spawn. Disadvantageous in the positioning, but advantageous to take down Zane. As Trippy goes down, drops into the pit. His dead body will too. Formal in the snipe tower, looking to score one more, but hey, Complexity are regaining their form a little bit here, so they haven't quite built up the same run that we saw from Optic Gaming, but this is the best they've looked in Game 4.
Complexity finally putting up a good fight in this game, but is it going to be too little too late? It's just going to take one good break for Complexity, or sorry, for Optic to close this one out. Looks like they have secured C for now. Now, how does the push work? You see Formal taking heavy left side presence. Two players push through the center. We've got a player swinging out through the catwalk as well. This is the type of Optic push that we got accustomed to seeing. All four players pushing from one side of the map through a line across the center at the same time. Complexity had nowhere to go, and that's exactly why Optic played it that way.
It's good to be GG's. B and A go in favor of Optic Gaming, but Complexity are putting up a fight here. Respect to that. Even if they end up going down in this match and in this series, they've not just lied down. As two will go down for Optic, only one for Complexity. Trip cap for Complexity, and all right, this might be a little comeback brewing.
Oh, that OS kill was massive because, like you said, comeback was starting to come together, but Dead Zone forcing Ryanoob off the map so they don't get that overshield completely changes the complexion of this game. But at the same time, Complexity haven't needed the OS to keep the trip cap in order. It looks like A will get flipped, but Complexity have earned a lot of time out of that play.
Big sticky indeed. 224 to rolling 150 here as Complexity have gotten back in the fight, but can they finish it? Ryanoob heads off the map. Lucid trying to help his teammate here in the long haul. Us hopping over his right shoulder. He knows exactly where he is. He knows he's close, but he doesn't know exactly where Huss is. Huss is giving him trouble here. Huss has the high ground now, but Optic say, okay, you can take the high ground. We'll take C, and the scoring right back.
Is Huss still alive over here? Yes, he's playing so sneaky. What? How this man? Okay, he ends up not getting much out of it, but yeah, if he had a little bit of help, he was buying so much time for somebody to show up. Problem is, teammates are spawning way too far away for them to be impactful in his play. Lucid now just going to perch up here like a gargoyle overlooking Gotham City. He gets taken down. And wow, Complexity really putting up a great fight. 4 dead again for Optic.
Oh, and it's the carbine and maybe even the yard spawns, but not so with Huss pushing that out. I don't think we'll see any yard spawns. It's just going to be all carbine and C. Folks are somewhere. Excited about that. As Huss works his way through the short haul. Spiker, wow, you saw red on his screen, but no health taken off, Eli. What the hell's that?
Game sucks. I don't know. So Huss is gonna get another kill and continue this run for Complexity.
All right, Eli was just trying. He's just joking. Clearly, we've committed 20 years of our life to this game. We love this game, and we love this comeback here. 232 to 220. Complexity are coming right back, and the next round of slays could determine the winner and whether or not we go to a game 5. 232, 226. Complexity are about to do it.
This is insane. This resolve. They are holding off wave after wave of Optic aggression, somehow weathering the storm. They only need 10 seconds. With Dead Zone dead early in this fight, that bodes well for them. Lucid hits the trick jump to get to top tower, but it's covered. And Formal last to die. I think that's gonna do it. Dead Zone forced to rush to B, but he doesn't have time.
It was 206 to 56, and Complexity have fought their way back to force a game 5. Optic Gaming, you have to get the sense, Eli, that they don't want to meet up against Complexity at the Halo World Championship. They don't want to see him in pool play. They don't want to see him in the champ bracket. They don't even want to see him in the Halo 3 side tournament because Complexity has something figured out against Optic that other teams have not. Maybe outside of SSG, and they're the odds-on favorite to win the whole thing. This is something incredible that we're witnessing before us.
I mean, that man on your screen right there, Ryanoob, is and has always been, in my opinion, the ultimate thorn in the side of many giants, many dynasties, right, that have come and gone throughout Halo's history. He's just been a steady just annoyance, right? Always finding his way back into series against teams that on paper have him clearly outmatched, right? But Complexity with an insane comeback there. You said it yourself, down 200 to 50-ish, 150-point comeback. Perfect rotations, getting the slays when they mattered. So we're getting a game 5 there, but on our screen, we already have one in progress. It's Sentinels versus FaZe Clan, and Sentinels up at the moment here in game 5. I mean, will they be able to finally close one of these things out? Eli, how are we feeling?
I mean, to blow a lead like this would be absolutely tragic, but
it'd be on brand, though.
It would be on brand, unfortunately. And Royal 2 has snuck away with the camo as well.
I love this team, but I'm just saying. I just gotta see it. I gotta say it as I see it, right? It's just.
It was hashtag Sed City, not hashtag Choke City. But you're right. If they drop this game at one point up by seven kills or so, 6 at this point, yeah, this would be a choke. Let's just call it what it is.
I mean, FaZe Clan have the tools to make it happen. Rossi staying alive. It's pretty massive in that moment as well. So what was previously an 8-kill lead down to 6. I don't think Royal 2 got much value out of his camo though, so that tells me that Sentinels have been kind of playing their process, playing cautiously, making sure they're watching different angles, but the damage has been dealt and the curb slides are out. That was a slick play out of, I think, Renegade. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-kill game. I think we might have cursed him.
I blame Hunter JJX. Send your feedback to him on Twitter. This is not our doing. 28-26. Sentinels haven't got a slay since we brought up just even the thought or prospect of them not taking control of this match. And oh my goodness, it's now tied. I'm nervous for them. How did they feel?
awful. It's one of the worst feelings. Trust. It's just like, I mean, there's no worse. They literally have got 1 kill since we came on board and have died 12 times.
Brandon like, pulls up the Optic Game 5. Yeah, let's just switch here because this might not be Sentinel's match for watching. Lucid with the triple kill. Starts off Game 5 the way Lucid usually does, going for the over. Oh, but Ryanoob says, don't try me.
All these teams playing with so much fire right now. We've got the picture-in-picture on screen. Want to definitely see what happens in the Sentinels phase match, but they're now down by 3. The phase has continued to roll. Looks like they've started to equalize the situation. Can they press their advantage state in that bottom right? Snakebite, though, with the sneaky positioning, gets the killing spree. Must be a big part of how they've come back.
Man, I'm having the best PTSD of Salt Lake City when we had Sentinels and SSG's match, both in picture-in-picture, both Game 5s. We're back in the mix here on the LBT split screen as we're hopping on board here with Breaking Shot in the Cafe side. Not picking up a latte, trying to pick up some more slays, but Rain with the grenade takes him down instead. Trying to push out potential C spawns, but it's all driveway and B instead. Breaking Shot picks up on that instantaneously. Kind of fumbling his footing in there a little bit through the B rail and might have disrupted his energy and his pacing on the next play as Ryanoob, though, picks up where he left off. Double kill for him. More slays for Ryanoob. Is he going to be the main slayer again, Eli?
I mean, he's been the main slayer all day somehow, despite seeing insane plays out of Breaking Shot. Just captain. He's just seen so much Halo, man. He's got to have twice the level of experience of everybody else in this lobby, seemingly. And he's really put it on display today.
Oh, I love it. This is chaos. This is madness. There's so much happening. We're here for it. Dead zone. Here with the camo. Starts to make his way towards the front of A, trying to draw attention towards his teammates on the Cafe side. While he works a flank. You got to be careful with camo in Season 3. Gets spotted out rather quickly. And Complexity, knowing that Dead Zone has the camo, try to work their way away from where they think he went, and they seem to have won that little chess match, but Bus kind of slides right into Dead Zone, and Dead Zone's only able to get 1, so not too much doing there from that camo. 15-18 as Complexity. We're up early in game 5.
Hell, the while the walls are starting to close in on Sentinels. It's only 2 more kills for FaZe. It had the Stalker rifle.
Oh no.
New camo came up and it's, oh man. Hunter, why'd you do this to him, man?
I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
JJX, what did you do?
I just saved myself.
That's it.
This man is sucking on a Jolly Rancher and just talking shit at the same time. That's incredible. He just doesn't even care, man.
Yeah. Man, how did? Yeah, it's a little hard
I think it's because I care that like I end up just roasting them because, like I said, I love that freaking roster. When they put that roster together and picked a precision, I literally was predicting like this team could be in the grand finals. This team could win. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? And so to see them go against the Juggernauts and every time push it to the absolute limit and then throw it away.
Oh man!
At some point in time, it's just like, come on, boys. Like, what are we doing here?
But Hunter, this was happening even in Season 1 when they let Mick win in that native gaming squad from the open bracket win a Game 5 Slayer on Streets where they were up 6. So it doesn't have to do with Spartan, doesn't have to do with precision. It seems to be there's snake bit, no PJ.
And it's surprising to me, alarming because I mean, coming out of Halo 5, I made the prediction. I said I'm going to watch Boo Boo Doo Boo win multiple championships in Halo Infinite. Like he seemed to be peaking. Yeah. He was becoming the absolute greatest version of himself, both in and outside of the game. And so to see it not pan out in the way that I was expecting, it's kind of shocking because we've seen it time and time again with players, right? Like we saw Formal, he comes out in Halo 3, has a couple good events, in Reach or whatever, then he starts peaking and all of a sudden it's like championship after championship, he's just in the mix, and I was really expecting to see something similar out of Boo Boo Doo Boo and especially out of Falcon. Like we talk about, one of the most underrated players in the whole scene, can slay with the best of them, and so a little bit disappointed there, but once again, it's just been the tail of the tape when it comes to the Sentinels roster, and they've got to figure out how to ice up these games, especially these Game 5s heading in the Worlds.
Yeah. All right. Let's
Heated
shift our
debate.
focus, man.
Yeah,
Agreed.
heated debate and discussion after Sentinels dropped that series, but we're dropping back into our main match of the day, or of the moment. 29-33 when Slayers unofficially start. We are right back in the mix. Dead zone dropping down to the bottom side of B-Rail. The push coming on strong here from Complexity. Look at all three, if not four. Oh, the Huss flank is not good enough. Dead zone through communication or game sense spots that out. Two go down for Optic, though. Two go down for Complexity, and this one's close. And what do you know? It's another picture-in-picture split screen. I hope you guys like Halo, because we're getting more Game 5 action.
Is every winner's round 2 match in a game 5 on Streets? What is going on? This is insane. Into the breach for Shopify game 5. Optic versus Complexity game 5. Sentinels versus FaZe game. Dude, if you guys are not excited for Worlds, like, oh my God, the competition is insane.
She got chills thinking about the Halo World Championship in 1 week, but for now, it's these game 5s that have our attention. Rain is the last player alive. Certainly he doesn't make it away with camo. No, he does not, but he does burn that advantage that Optic Gaming could have taken in a situation where they need to find some advantages. Complexity are up 3 going into the 40s. Will we find another upset? Will Complexity show the Halo world that they have the answer to one of the best teams in the world, looking for another Halo World Championship, but they won't if Complexity's in their way?
This has got to feel bad for Optic. They need to ice up in this moment, though. For Complexity, take those bragging rights into the next tournament as well. Somehow, Complexity have had the number of Optic. Optic, we were saying, looked to be in World Championship form literally at the beginning of the series.
2 seconds ago.
But it's Complexity up by 5 in the end game, and Breaking Shot is looking like a demon on the map.
It's busted open to 7 slays, multiple possessions needed. Optic Gaming would need a miracle at this point. And Complexity off of a reverse sweep. They swept Optic Gaming on land 2 weeks ago, and now they're looking at a reverse sweep in winners round 2 to advance to the semis.
Not in great positions here, though. Looks like they have one player kind of isolated over on purple side. If Optic are aware of this, they could. Oh my God, Ryanoob, 16 and 9 with 10 assists. Ryanoob has ascended.
Raya Butsy is absolutely frying here in game number 5, leading this roster Complexity to another upset victory over Optic Gaming. And Eli, how many times are they gonna have to beat Optic before we stop calling it an upset?
I can't believe you just said Raya Bussy on the broadcast, man.
That's what he's doing. 16, 10, and 9. Most slays, most assists, least deaths. This would be incredible in pool play. This would be incredible against an open bracket team that just got to pools. But this is against Optic Gaming, the Season 1 World Champs, and Complexity have pulled the upset of the tournament. But like I said, I don't know if this is an upset anymore.
You know, I was going to say I'm shocked, but you know, over here, hashtag we are Cole, we just expect things like this to happen, right? Stringing together 3 games in a row against Optic is just what we do. I'm just going to say it. It's what we do. We just done it on broadcast again. The reverse sweep comes through. Ryanoob, though, today, Eli, we have to talk about this. You've been around as long as I have, actually longer. You've seen this side of Ryanoob, but we haven't seen this in probably, what, 15 years?
This guy is playing on a whole nother level. It's almost like he feels like he's got to prove a point. Like, yes, I am still that dude. He has proven that he is absolutely still that dude.
46-41, Shopify looking to take the series in Game 5 against Into the Breach. We'd love to break down all of these Game 5s, but we still got another one live in the mix. Up by 5 in this Game 5 are Shopify, and if Into the Breach lose any more lives, they'll probably lose this series. Just I say that 3 go down. Shopify look to advance to the semis. Woo.
It's remaining.
I feel like this has been the story of ITB as well. They keep taking top teams to game 5s and then they just can't seal the deal. Wonderboy, we've had a chance to cast with him a few times recently, and he's just like, we got to figure out our game 5s. But okay, that doesn't trade. Somehow Cycle tries to force the trade, but it does not go through. This is still technically doable, but it's got to be perfect Halo from here on out.
So Eli, I've got a question for you then. As big of a brain as you've got, ITB and Sentinels walk into a game 5 against each other. Who's winning?
Dude, it's gonna be 50-49 for sure, and some kind of fluky into the game, I would imagine. But
Might
I
just
don't.
be a 50-50 tie.
Could be. By the way, they just jumped Suppressed. Suppressed had
got
no
deleted.
options there.
He
He
got
literally
deleted.
just I think 3 players meleeed him. They only needed to send 2 to melee, but they sent 3 just in case. Next camo's gonna be bait though. I don't expect anyone to go for this unless they have the shroud. They do have the shroud. Shopify might just use this to seal the game. Some grenades come out though.
Oh my
Wait
God.
a second.
They kill him.
They took him down.
Wait, how does he
Into the
have
breach.
assist but they didn't win the game?
Into the
No,
breach.
mental got
Mental went
dropped
down.
with camo. Yeah, mental
okay,
got
okay,
Mental
okay,
went down with camo.
The observer switch. I thought Suppress got the assist. My bad.
Oh, you're good, boo.
Yeah, you were seeing the assist from right before the switch, but it was like a milliseconds of a difference. But yeah, mental gets taken down there with camo.
Dude.
Bro, what are you, Mikowski, bro? You faded as hell, bro.
I'm
Come on,
so
49-47. Lock the F in. Suppressed at the top side of A with the battle rifle out. Looks for some long-range advantages into the breach, down by 2. Have a chance in one fell swoop to steal this game for Shopify. But how do they push out of C? How do they work off of this spawn? You could say the advantage in the scoreboard and the positioning is in favor of Shopify, but this game's not just done yet.
I mean, Suppress just can lay down fire and tell his teammates when to go, right? Like he's laying down the damage, but the problem is Shopify is not ready to be mobilized. They're kind of in very passive positioning, which is surprising. But I guess that they've died a few times in a row now, and they're starting to get a little bit scared about this.
They're tightening it up. They're turtling up.
How does Breach respond to this? Because they were previously getting these slays off of overextensions from Shopify, but if Shopify chooses to not overextend, I mean, literally time could start becoming a factor here. But I expect them to force the issue.
Red gun though in the hand of Chick. This could be huge. This is the difference maker.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's
now
playing
moving.
ballsy.
Yeah, he's pushing his way up. He's trying to create an opening now. Sees mental. Is he going to get some shots onto the foot there?
Oh my God.
This is a ballsy position.
He sees him, and he's weak. He's weak enough to where he can clean him up.
He wasn't going for the shot. He was going for the info. So now he's backing up. One of the things I got to point out right here, Mikowski, if you look at Into the Breach, every single one of the players on their team is buddied up, right? So there's always coverage. So even when they take damage and they're backing down, they're being held by someone else. They're literally playing it like perfect defense. But defense isn't going to win you a game when you're down by 2. 2 minutes to go, though, so there is some time. We'll have to wait and see. This camo, I believe, is going to be the catalyst to end this game.
And it should be Shopify Rebellion able to right their wrongs with the previous Shroud screenplay that did not work out in their favor. Imbo on the B rail, got to be careful here. And it looks like Cycle is going to sneak away with that camo. And now into the breach. Know the push is coming, but where from?
This is so sus right now for ITB. No, you're way too exposed. Oh, he survives.
Oh, he survives! How does Mighty stay alive?
Whoa.
And they're gonna push out. They're gonna try to chase up this damage, but it could be a trap. Oh, Jimbo takes down Suppress! And oh my God, Shopify lose 2 at the very end. That would have tied the game up at 50. Oh my God. Somebody, I need a drink, man. I need some water because 3 game 5s back to back to back. That was ridiculous.
Someone check on Mighty. I don't know what that decision was. That was. It's insane that he lived as long as he did, right? But I felt like
Pure
just beat Space Station. What is happening?
Okay, LeBron James.
Avicii's playing for a contract. Let's be honest now. Eli, we got to have a real conversation. Actual question. What would it take from Avicii, theoretically speaking, for, you know, Pure to just be like, you know what, last shot, like, just take tomorrow off, bro. Like, we're good. Like, we're already rolling. You know, I'm not saying they're going to drop him for Avicii, but, like, if you're on that team, like, you know, if someone's, like, on fire, like, you know, what would it take for you to just be like, let's let him ride?
I think if Last Shot wakes up and he's like, I'm on 70 ping, they're like, yeah, that's a little too high. Like, I think we're going to play with Avicii.
Man, what's
like,
the over-under there? 60, 65?
Yeah, if he's on like 50 ping, like, they'll go with Last Shot. But any higher than that, like, sorry, bro, Starlink's too risky. I think Avicii's all right, man. Like, let's just
like, for me, it's like, if you beat Space Station, right, with the sub, then you're just like, you know what, let's just, like, we'll run it out. Like, give the guy a chance to show what he's made of even more and, like, potentially, you know, get picked up by someone else after Worlds, you know? I don't know. They seem to be rolling right now, at least. They just won game 1 against Space Station. Shocked.